Hey, let's make some Cuban coffee. There are several different ways to make Cuban coffee. This way's very easy. I'm using a Mr. Coffee espresso machine. I have some Cuban coffee, which is an espresso style. I have sugar, and now I'm going to be putting water into the machine. I put as much water as the machine will hold. Some people will put in just enough to make 2 cups or maybe 4 cups of coffee, but I like to have extra water in there because I might want to use the steam later on to warm up my coffee or to make more foam. So fill the machine all the way to the top with water. Now we're going to add coffee grounds to this little cup. The cup has lines for 2 cups and 4 cups. I'm going to make 4 cups of coffee. I'm going to be using Bustelo. It's a very good Cuban coffee. Now this is important. When you add the coffee grounds into the cup, you're going to want to pack them as you add them. If you don't pack it, the water is going to flow through that cup too easily and your coffee is going to be weak. So you want to get a good pack. Cuban coffee is almost always served sweet. I've never had it any other way. I usually put about 1 teaspoon of sugar in for every cup. I'm using a pretty big spoon there, but what I'm putting in is about the equivalent of 4 teaspoons. Now that you see my face, you realize I'm a middle-aged white guy. And middle-aged white guys don't always have a lot of credibility when it comes to talking about Cuban coffee. But I know what I'm talking about, and I drink Cuban coffee every chance I get. I got into it when I met my wife, who is a Cuban-American woman. And she grew up around Cuban coffee because her dad was essentially addicted to it. And it was that man right there, Ulysses, who taught me how to make Cuban coffee using the same method. So I'm just trying to carry on the tradition. All right, back to making coffee. Now it's time to brew the coffee. That switch only moves in 2 directions. If you move it one way, it'll start to brew, and if you move it the other way, it'll send steam through the steam nozzle. It probably takes 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes to brew 4 cups of coffee. You can see that the coffee is starting to drip through. It moves pretty quickly. You have to pay attention. There's a line on the carafe for 2 cups of coffee, and there's also a line for 4 cups of coffee. So I'm speeding things up just a little bit, but you can see it is already up to that line with 2 cups of coffee. And I'm going to pay very careful attention as it heads up to the 4 cups mark because I'm going to want to turn off brewing before it gets that far. I don't want it to go past that mark because then too much water has filtered through the coffee grounds and the coffee will be weak. So once it gets close to that line, I'm going to turn the brewing off. Now I need to wait, like another minute or so because there's still a lot of pressure inside that coffee machine. And even though brewing is turned off, the coffee's still going to drip through a little bit. And it'll probably raise it right up where I want it, right to that line that says 4 cups. All right, at this point, don't forget you put several teaspoons of sugar in the bottom of your carafe, so now you want to stir it up. You want to make sure the sugar is completely dissolved. And now here comes the fun part. No Cuban coffee is complete without some foam on the top. You're not going to be able to see things really well from this perspective, so let me show it to you in another perspective. Now you just take that switch and you turn it to the steam option. Steam is now coming through the steam nozzle. As that steam forces its way through the coffee, it'll bubble up and it'll create a froth, some foam. And that foam just tastes good and it makes that cup of Cuban coffee complete. That's it, that's all it takes. All you need to do now is serve it up and enjoy it.